morning. It's me again, video number 2. Can you believe it? I've gone from not wanting to record myself to actually being quite excited about doing this second one. Before I delve into this much shorter video, because that's some of the feedback I did receive, I just want to acknowledge those people who have reached out to me. I've had a number of voice messages, numerous text messages. I've had telephone calls, very heart-wrenching, very thought-provoking. Most giving me a really honest critique. My 6-year-old granddaughter, Princess, looked at it on screen, and you could just see the joy in her heart and the pride on her face until she said, "Grandma, why are you not looking at the camera? You need to look at the camera, Grandma." And who recorded that anyway? Who recorded it? They've not done it properly. Where's your microphone? You've not even used a microphone, and you're too far from the screen as well. Do you know what? Hearing that critique from a 6-year-old child really humbled me, because actually it just demonstrates how in touch she is with social media and how in touch she is with technology. And at 6, what was I doing at 6? I was back home, living a gay life, just running around on our family farm, just doing very, very childish things. And it's just a sign of the times, isn't it? That at 6, my granddaughter feels able to give me very, very constructive feedback. It was unfiltered. It was from the lens of a 6-year-old, but it actually made sense. Other comments I've had have been about connecting with the camera and looking at the camera. I wasn't even aware that I wasn't looking at the camera, but here you go. I'm hoping I'm doing better this time. One of my cousins called me. In fact, she sent me a couple of voice messages in which she was really quite emotional. And she said the content she really resonated with, and it really, she was able to relate to it. And what she said to me was, "Bern, I didn't know your name was Mary." And this cousin is 60. We've grown up together all our lives. And we talk about cousins, and a lot of them are very distant cousins. This is a first cousin. Her father and my mother are brother and sister. And she did not know my name was Mary. Another cousin rang me, and she said to me, she felt really touched by what I'd shared. She felt it had blessed her, and she felt it had inspired her. And I don't know that she's necessarily going to start recording her own journey, but I think what it's done is given people something to reflect on. And I've had time to reflect and to review and to recalibrate and just to really reconsider the me that I share with the world. And I am thankful that my son urged me to do this. I'm thankful that he coerced me into doing this. There was no coercion this time. I readily accepted support, and I readily allowed him to continue to film me. And what I will say on reflecting on last week's video, I made a comment about large families that I think might have been taken out of context. Certainly somebody raised it with me. And when I said it is not always great coming from a large family, what I meant by that was, as the eldest female who was working, it was incumbent upon me to be responsible for my younger siblings. My brother Matthew and I were responsible. In fact, in today's era, we would be deemed young carers, because we were caring for our younger siblings because my mother was out working so much. I also wanted to take the opportunity to say that my family means everything to me, absolutely everything. And my family extends beyond my nuclear family, which are my 4 boys, my grandbabies. I have brothers and sisters who mean the world to me. And so when I talked about not necessarily celebrating coming from a large family, it really was around the level of privacy that you are afforded as an older sister, walking in your unique self, being authentic and purposeful. Because in everything I did, I had to consider somebody else. I was working, I had clothes, my clothes were always shared. I never ever enjoyed having a bedroom to myself until I left home. And even then, I left home and I was married and I was sharing my bedroom with somebody else. So I love being part of a large family. However, it does have its pitfalls. The other thing I really wanted to say was that I don't like taking pictures. And so the comments I received about engaging with the camera, being closer to the screen, all of that stuff, I totally understood where that was coming from. I didn't necessarily want to engage with everything, but I now understand that it's something that I need to do. And I'm trying not to be too distracted because I'm trying not to disengage with the camera. But today what I really wanted to do was to just encourage others to walk in their truth and walk in their purpose, and just to feel the fear and do it anyway and be bold. But in all that I do, I want to give God the glory, because without God who sustains me, at whose feet I kneel, on whose word I stand, I would be nothing. So first of all, I give God the glory, but I also really wanted to honor my mum. My mum, as you know, transitioned on the 24th of December, 2023, and I know she's in paradise. And the anniversary of her death is coming up, and that's a challenge, but I feel strong. I really do feel strong. So I anticipate anxiety as the 24th approaches, but I also know that I am a child of God and God will sustain me. Today, I wanted to re-record something that I was invited to speak on for Black History Month. So I'm playing about with this computer next to me because I'm going to have to read from this computer. And basically, I was invited by a local authority to come and speak about reclaiming our narrative. And hearing about reclaiming our narrative from other people was enlightening. And it made me think about, how do I reclaim my narrative? And is there a narrative indeed to reclaim? I now know that in everything, I have to be honest, I have to be open, and I have to be true to me. So in reclaiming my narrative, I am sharing with you aspects of me that I have not shared with other people before. I am sharing with you the uniqueness of self that I keep very guarded. And for years, people have said to me, Bern, as you enter a room, there's a presence. And I think I've always hidden from that presence because I didn't quite understand what people meant by there is a presence. I now walk in that presence. And this week, on Tuesday, I was invited by Brighter Futures for Children to present a workshop on extrafamilial harm. And I have to admit, there was no nervousness, there was no tension. I was prepared. I walked in there confident, knowing that I knew my subject, but knowing that my delivery, my style would connect with our social workers who were at that event. And I left there feeling really empowered. I left there feeling that I'd left nuggets that they could use as they move forward. I left there knowing that I had imparted knowledge. I had introduced a concept of trauma-informed approaches, ensuring that in all they do when it comes to extrafamilial harm, separating child from the issue, seeing the child first, and basically understanding that many of the responses of our young people are trauma-led. Many of the responses from their parents are trauma-led. And so I celebrated the fact that I was able, in a very small way to support the growth, the development, and the learning of a group of people who were eager to learn. They were like sponges. And they really embraced the concept of a trauma neurodiverse sensitive approach to working with children differently. And in all that I do, I really want to give God the praise for taking me back to this place. You see, Freedom to Fly, which is the name of my company, has been in existence for over 20 years. And although I have it as part of my email, it's been dormant for many, many years. And God has galvanized me into rebirthing Freedom to Fly for a time like this. And so I celebrate my new beginning, my awakening, my freeing self to fly. And I will say to anybody who feels that aspects of them have been compartmentalized as a form of protection, which is what I know I did. I protected self by compartmentalizing issues and closing that drawer so I didn't have to open it unless I was absolutely forced to. And I feel that the force of the Lord walking alongside me, speaking to me, and now I'm hearing and I'm listening and I'm being more obedient. I just feel that it's not just about celebration, it's about a freeing of self. It's about being in control, but knowing that you're in control, but that actually you're accountable, you're responsible. And so I'm going to stop speaking about the me that I want to share with you. And I hope you'll excuse me because the spoken word that I wrote for this organization is on another screen. So I'm not copying out of not looking directly at the screen. What I'm saying is I'm going to have to look at another screen in order to read it. And when I read it, I'm not going to identify the local authority and I'm not going to identify the organizer who kindly invited me. So bear with me, and also I have to put on my glasses. So this is what I've written for the Black History Month, Reclaiming Our Narrative. Today, as we gather to honor Black History Month, let us reclaim our narrative, centering our voices, celebrating our resilience, and illuminating the truths that have shaped our journey and continue to inspire our future. Today, I thank the local authority, I thank the organizer for this privilege and space to reflect on my experience of being an African woman, a Black woman in leadership, challenging the narratives about self, often imposed by others. Today, I say thank you for those insightful educational experiences I've gained in social care for over 35 years. Today, I acknowledge the journey, now more healthily navigating the trauma of those experiences, embracing them as a catalyst for change, the springboard from which I grow, evolve, stand firm, stand tall, knowing how they've shaped my thinking, my determination to acknowledge my purpose and truly walk in my truth. I stand before you today confidently reclaiming those personal and professional experiences where my identity had been framed by external agendas. I stand before you today cognizant of the suspicion, the fear of a woman deemed powerless, but who celebrated uniqueness, strength, resolve, defined the status quo by wearing very long locks at a time when that statement alone signified my defiance, claiming my pride in embracing difference, including my distinctive working class East End Cockney accent. I stand before you today as one wearing the scars of forcibly navigating those systems that sought to define and diminish me. Those faces where I both consciously and inadvertently normalized seeking validation from the oppressors, those very people who clipped my wings, spiraling me into fight or flight mode. I stand before you today, acknowledging and emulating the courage of Claudette Colvin, who on the 2nd of March 1955, aged just 15 years, refused to give up her seat on a bus in Alabama 9 months before Rosa Parks did the same. I stand before you today giving thanks to Fannie Lou Hamer, a 1960s changemaker who fought for the voting rights of Black people by challenging the political systems, perpetuating exclusion, violence, and injustice of her people in the deep South of America. I stand before you today, a spouse of over 25 years to Katie, the proud mother of 4 Black kings, 3 the fruits of my womb, the other blended into my family with such joy, such love. The fathers of my grandbabies, my heartbeats, their every move tinged with a mother's fear of street violence, systemic racism, adultification, disproportionality, and their potential responses to defend, protect self that could leave them targeted, harmed, at risk, or incarcerated. I stand before you today, the daughter of the late Rosanna Eugene, my rosebud, who ascended into paradise on the 24th of December 2023. A virtuous woman, a teacher in her homeland who dared to dream of a land promising opportunity, a land where the streets were paved with gold, a land that shunned her education, her humanness, likening her to a dog. No Blacks, no Irish, no dogs, she read on those closed doors over and over again, forcing this strong, proud descendant of warriors, a matriarch, to provide for her kin as a factory worker. Rose Eugene, a staunch Catholic whose dream of me entering a nunnery was shattered also early in childhood. What can I say? I stand before you today, reflecting on how too often I am seen by those who choose to view me via biased lenses constructed to change my mind, hijack my aspirations, and hold my potential hostage. I stand before you today, craving social change, to give a voice to the silenced, to see the invisible, respect the disregarded, those dehumanized, deemed unimportant. I stand before you today, celebrating a metamorphic transformation as I declare that I am educated, intelligent, confident, assertive, not aggressive, now able to navigate the social structures because I am less affected by the social determinants too often holding my people in bondage. So I say no to ACEs and their devastating lifelong negative impacts. I say no to hate, my own trauma-informed framework for the scars of adult trauma that seek to disable and immobilize. I say no to poverty. I say no to poor housing. I say no to poor access to healthcare. I say no to inferior education. I say no to food insecurity. I say no to unemployment. I say no to intimate relationship violence. I say no to a lack mindset and all the other factors and systemic barriers, those chains that hold us captive. I tell you today that I know, I've lived it, I wear the scars, I empathize because I see you, I feel you. I stand before you today as a powerful, dynamic, and inspirational individual committed to using my experiences, my God-given skills and insights as a catalyst for change to bless the marginalized others. I stand before you today, obedient to my Heavenly Father, vowing to step out in faith and commit to my divine calling to changing the life chances of others by taking them on an empowering, transformative journey of self-discovery, self-preservation, and wholeness. I stand before you today, securing the knowledge that I am a tree with strong roots who laugh at those disguised and obvious storms, however they manifest, and reminding me that one hand can't clap. Those branches represent the many hands, the village that supported me, nurtured me, held me close, held my hands when I stumbled, picked me up when I fell, brushed me down when sullied, encouraged me to keep on traveling into my future, one tentative step after another, learning from every stumble. Those strong branches, strong arms that encircled me, enabled me to salute and celebrate the changing seasons, shedding the leaves of brokenness, laden down with negativity, doubt, fear, rejection, despair, discouragement, disappointment, and giving way to newness, a new dawn, a new awakening for wholeness, unashamedly devouring and illuminating the cycle of rejuvenation, regrowth, rebirth. And so to the changing winds, I whisper, thank you, as you give me permission and authority to dance in the face of adversity. I stand before you today, my blackness undisguised, an Ashanti warrior, akin to Yah Sentwa, spirited, determined to fight against injustice, a hunger for freedom, like me for a time like this. I stand before you today, unapologetically, big, black, bald, an African woman, a beautiful woman, a Christian woman, the daughter of a king, all glory and honor to him, the Most High. I stand before you today, I, Mary Bernadette Eugene-Charlery, in this 1 month that they believe they give me permission to celebrate my blackness, my Africanness. I declare that I am a St. Lucian by birth. African genealogy runs through my veins. A Ghanaian heritage retraced, reclaimed. A child of God rebirthed, reframing, rewriting my story, reclaiming my narrative. I thank you. I salute you. I encourage you to believe that it is possible if you have faith. I now understand that every moment of doubt, every victory, my story is mine to tell, ours to tell and celebrate. Today, as we reclaim our narrative, we affirm our strength, heritage, and power to write our future on our own terms, but always with sensitivity, compassion, love, and understanding. Doing unto others as has been done unto us is discriminatory, divisive, oppressive, abusive, and not an option. And so I will end with saying and giving thanks and celebrating the Almighty. In whatever I do every day, let it be of you, Lord, for you, Lord. Let me always walk in excellence and glorify you in all thoughts, words, and deeds. Thank you. I do hope this recording blesses you and gives you inspiration to walk, truly walk in your truth, in your purpose, unashamedly, unapologetically authentic. Have a fantastic Thursday. God bless you all.